hardDrive Radio Radicals. Paulie here, sitting in the lovely Atlantic Records office. I am joined now by Lzzy, Hale, and Josh Smith of Halestorm. What's up, guys?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you, man. A lot's up. We got a new single out today.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas morning. It's awesome.
That's right. New song, Unfomfortable, dropped this morning, and I've already listened to it about 20 times over.
You poor thing.
No, come on, man. It's a great song. You know, you guys, it's got, I feel like, a real, like, thrashy riff coming in that first time. So tell me a little bit about, you know, writing this song and what went into it and where your heads were at.
Well, this is one of the first songs that we ended up coming together for this record. We did this record with Nick Raskulinecz, and he was there from, you know, the gestation process through pre-pro through pre-pro through making the record, and then the 11th hour, the whole thing. So in the beginning, one of the things that, you know, really troubled us was it's our fourth record. We had no idea what to do. Our amazing A&R guy Pete Gamberg came over, and he just basically said, "Hey, man, you know me. I always have an agenda, but this time I have no agenda. So go write your record and let me know when you think it's done." And so we're like, "What do we do?" You know? And so we basically, you know, we sat and when we were talking to Nick, he basically said, "Well, when was the last time that the four of you just kind of got together and jammed and started with, you know, kind of music first?" It's like, man, it's been years since that happened, you know. So this particular song ended up starting as an instrumental, and then kind of took it from there, and it became and then it made the cut every single time, you know.
Yeah, it's got an engine on it, as you can tell. It just thing doesn't let up, and yeah, it was a fun journey making that, and I feel it's funny. I feel like we talk about Nick, so like he should be his like fifth member, you know. But yeah, he was just a great guide on this record, but from song to song as well. Yeah, this song we're glad it made the cut, and glad it's the first thing to put out in the world. It's cool.
Tell me a little bit about, you know, those writing sessions, because I think a way most bands kind of do it these days is they sit down and they write their crop of songs, and then they kind of go into the studio with the producer and whittle it down. So if Nick was kind of involved in this process from the beginning, did you guys like just go to his house and just sat around with guitars and wrote stuff? He
opened up his studio to us, so like it's how long what, like, from the beginning, like when
I think we started it was over a year ago.
Yeah.
It was the beginning of last year, really. And so and yeah, it was just that. It was go in and what do you got? Who's got something? Let's hear it, and we'd go from there, literally, or just sit down and jam, like Uncomfortable. I know Joe had a bunch of riffing. I don't know how we ended up going from the fat, you know what I mean? Like I don't remember the whole process of it all, but it was just that, and for quite a number of songs. I mean, in that first batch, I don't know what else made it to the record, but we probably jammed out, which would actually be fun to listen to someday.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe someday, we'll listen to like the 10 other songs that probably didn't make it, that were just jams that may have not even had lyrics or vocals or anything.
Yeah, maybe they'll be for the next record, some of it. But yeah, and this particular song, like, we have a version with a completely different ending. We recorded it like 5 or 6 times over, so like we really got to know the song before it ended up being in its final stage, which, like what you just said, on our previous records, that's usually how we would do it. We would write whenever we could, because we were busy all the time, and then quick, you know, okay, then pick a producer, and then and then go and record everything, and then whittle it down. And this time we just kind of did it completely in the opposite way. So
we did it like we used to do it.
Yeah.
and it's I don't know, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
It's a lot more involved and a lot more work and a lot more rewarding too. But yeah, it's I understand why people get into the notion of just let's write some songs. We find a producer. Here are the songs. Let's hit record. But it speeds things up. It makes sense. But this was like, this is a blast. This is like back to our basement days, of just wake up at 1 in the afternoon and go down in the basement and just start making noise.
Were there any other things that you tried differently on this album than the previous album?
Yeah, I mean, for starters, I think everything, honestly,
that narrows it down.
Yeah, just to start, everything. No, I mean, like, with Nick, I mean, one of his goals as producing our record is what he has told us is to, keep us, I don't know, to bring out what he sees in us as a fan of Halestorm. So like we decided early on we're going to double down on rock. We're not going to go in a strange left. We're not going to go for the pop grab. It's just let's stick where let's do what we would do in our basement, and without any outside stuff. And so it's been fun to go through that and to really, he kept us kind of in the lane, out of the gutter, like if it's a bowling alley, he kept to use the bumpers, but keeping out of the gutter. It's a terrible analogy. But
it's a good picture, though.
It's just keeping us out of the gutter. But it's interesting too because like with us, like we said, like we had multiple versions of every song. We would come back from a tour and be like, "Ooh, what about this?" Like let's go back and listen. So we really got to like kind of get inside these songs before we release it into the public. Which, again, on previous records, we don't really know whether anyone's really going to care until we release it. And then usually we're like, as we develop it live, we'll be like, "Oh, we should have done that. We should have done that." So like this time, we've gotten to the final versions of these songs by now. And also we were just talking about that, like recording, as far as vocally, like a lot of these things, he was on a lot of the last records, like as far as vocally with me, like everyone just kind of, okay, can you do that prettier? And I can do a lot of things with my voice, but this particular time, we would do things as a performance, like so we would start from the beginning of the song, and there's no like flying in that chorus 3 more times. The second chorus, you're singing the second chorus because you're going to sing the second chorus differently now that you're through the song. And then a lot of times he's like, "I really like this take," and I'm like, "That was like the first take. I'm just waking up, dude." He's like, "I know, but that's what I like about it. Look at there's this rasp in your voice, like on Hard and and I'm like, he's like, "There's this rasp in your voice, like I don't hear that on any of your recordings." I'm like, "I know, because I'm usually like warmed up for the other recordings." So he did a lot of that. He brought a lot out of RJ. I mean, you're gonna hear my little brother, and you've met him. He's a loud individual.
He is a wonderful human being.
You usually hear him before you see him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Nick, I think, is the first person to really capture that on tape. So I can't wait for everyone to hear the record.